Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and once again it's time for another full body workout. I went in a little tired today. I hit that 5K PR yesterday. Uh, just felt a little fatigued, hamstring still a little sore, but I came in and decided let's just get a really good workout anyways. I want to do a little more singles on the squats, so I'm not going to try to hit obviously true maxes. I just want them to be at least 90%. And I came in and just did 3 singles with 405, and I want to continue to work it up because like I've already said, even though I'm going to continue to get leaner, I'm now down to 209. I'm still going to work down towards under 200. I feel like all the running is going to help. But I want to get the squat back to 500. So, for me, that's kind of a big deal to be below 200 pounds and to squat 500 again is kind of something I really want to do. So again, something I'm going to work towards. So I feel like me doing the singles is really the best thing I can do for that. It carries over the best. Keep practicing singles, and then I'll use the sled work and the jumping to get the other muscle and performance out of it. But again, these singles all felt pretty good. None of them particularly grindy or anything. So again, I feel like, good starting point, just work on singles with 405 and I can kind of build these back up from here. I'm still getting used to the running. So there's still some fatigue from the running. And I've realized I have to scale it back, which I have. I'm not going to run more than 4 days a week, right? Because that's realistically all I can handle. But I also know that the scale should be continuing to go down now because now that I'm used to doing some running, I haven't been adding the extra fat in. We're going to go back to the really low fat diet. We're just going to keep growing it up, chicken, rice, sweet potato type diet. And I'm going to start working on in the evenings just more and more lean protein just in case I feel a need to binge. Stuff like just some Greek yogurt and protein powder, extra chicken breast, things like that. So that'll help a lot while doing just the fasted eating. All right, for the benching though, benching didn't feel great today as I was ramping up. It's like, man, it doesn't just feels a little fatigued. But I did a lot of bench volume last time. All things considered, because I also did incline after. So I did some singles today on bench, and it's like they felt just a little heavy. I have bumped it. I changed the hooks around to mess with my other roller hooks, and I didn't like it. I bumped it unracking 325. Notice it threw me out of my groove. So when I unracked it, notice my foot slipped because I bumped it. So I was kind of loose. So this took a lot out of me. This 325 with a pause felt really heavy because of that. So I'm like, it messed me all up. So it's one of those days where the benching is just, even though last time I got 315 for an easy triple, well, not easy, all paused 2 days ago. It just felt off a little. So I'm like, let's just do some other singles with 315. Did a couple more singles and then went over and focused on incline. I do feel like when I look at my weak links and where I'm at on the benching, I know incline carries over for me a lot to that. Right. And also I took the grip out just a little today. I wanted to mess with some slightly wider. I want to grip pretty wide for some of this because I feel like, again, I do well with that. And so, again, if I continue to focus on the incline work and then the overhead as I get the ability to overhead coming up, right, which I know is going to happen. I'm going to let the biceps continue to get that inflammation. Now we're just going to leave them alone and get that overhead restored. That's going to really carry over to me for a nice paused wide grip benching, right? Because again, where my weak links are really addressed by incline and overhead work. So again, did a couple singles at 315 and just called it for benching because I did a fair amount of incline today. Keep in mind, last workout I did three pretty hard sets of bench and then 2 hard sets of incline. So it's 5 sets total. It's a lot of chest pressing. Same thing because my hamstring DOMs are there a little bit, and I've identified what's causing it. I'm going to adjust something with my pace. So for barefoot running, I've been taking too long a stride. Sometimes I need to bring those steps in a little bit in terms of not striding as far. So I just came in, did a nice 500 on the deadlift and called it, right? Just like I've been doing. I'm not going crazy on it. I will start working more and more singles in. As soon as that hamstring feels a little bit better, and I think I'm going to adjust my running this weekend. I'm going to adjust my running this weekend to compensate. I think we'll be good. I'm going to start doing a little more singles on there too, just like with the squat. And like I said, with the benching, I like doing the singles there, and I think they're good, but I also really like the top sets with 315. But I do feel like as long as I get a decent amount of benching in, I don't have to do a lot of flat benching. The incline and stuff's going to carry over to it also. I need just enough to keep good practice and growth. I don't have to do 3 sets 3 times a week like I've been doing always if I don't want. I can definitely have sessions where I do some singles like today and then come in and just push incline, or even top sets, with 315. So again, as long as we're getting it all in, because it's still a lot of benching. Like anyway, you break it down, man. I did, on Wednesday. I mean, Monday I just did close grip, but then Wednesday I did three pretty hard sets, limit sets of bench. Then 2 sets of incline. So then today, 3, fairly heavy singles. And then we did, again, 3 sets of incline. It's a lot of chest pressing. So really the pressing is my dominant volume right now, because I do want those muscles to come up. So even as I get leaner, all the pressing muscles are really what I need to continue to improve aesthetics. And again, getting my bench up higher. I hit a 350 not long ago, paused. So getting my bench up to, maybe 365 again as I drop down to under 200, the same thing. So then pull-ups, it took me a moment to get used to this, man, the grip. I felt slippery when I did a overhand like that with the thumb over, so I reached under and gripped it. So I'm like, look, if we're going to be honest, what's going to help my overhead the most? I like doing the neutral grip, but even the neutral grip might be putting more stress than we need with the bicep and the shoulder. So I'm like, let's just do our normal shoulder width pull up, right? And these are harder for me. Like I feel these are really difficult for me compared to the wide grip. So this is almost my hardest version right here. But again, these are going to be the metric of what's happening with my overhead, because I go into a dead hang on these. So it tells me where I'm at in terms of elbow lock, shoulder position, because that's a very similar bar path to an overhead press, right? It really is, especially if you go into a dead hang, that is the same bar path. So this gives me a metric of where we're at, and it's going to stretch all of that area to improve me again on the overhead, while at the same time allowing any bicep inflammation to go. And I've discussed already what I think has happened, and I think it's that all the supine work caused bicep inflammation, and it affected both my shoulder in the lockout, and notice that my elbows don't lock anymore. So that's still the biceps too tight. So I did 3 sets of pull-ups with that. Then I'm like, I want to try to do some of the dumbbell overhead. I can't quite lock it, and I get that. But it's still a good idea to try to work that overhead position. But my shoulders were just fried at this point, because those pull-ups work shoulders, the incline work shoulders. And keep in mind, I've been doing that stuff 3 days a week. So I did just 1 set, but I got a rep PR, right? I got 7s last time. I managed to get 8 and then failed. So afterwards, we just did box and sleds. So the box jumps, I almost didn't count. I'm like, how many? I want to get at least 8. And I just started doing the triples. And I went over to check the film to see if I got it, and I'd had 10 already. I'm like, oh, I guess I better quit. I don't need to do more than 10 jumps. But again, we did 10 triples with short breaks, maybe 20 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever between. So again, my box jumps, which again carry over to speed, power, they carry over to the squats. Of course, then I finish up with sled work with a sprint at the end. But yeah, so this is the most box jumps I think I've done. I think I've done 7 or 8 a couple times now. So just kind of built these up, but 10's a fair amount. It's a lot of explosive training. So again, this is also going to help my run times. So because I hit a PR yesterday, I'm under 29 minutes now on the 5K. I feel like I really want to focus on my runs on 5K times. I've been trying to be like, let's keep improving run times for a 1 hour run, 55 minutes to an hour, which have improved, right? Got them down to just over 10-minute miles doing that. But I'm like, let's get the 5K up too. So I really do want to spend just a little time on the running, focusing on the 5K. I want to get that time better. And it's improving. Like it's improved dramatically. I've only been running again just over 3 weeks after over 20 years of not doing it. So it's coming along pretty well. And so again, just got to keep managing fatigue in it. Really watching stuff like the hamstring and calf. So I'm going to have to adjust kind of my stride. I'm taking too long of strides, right? So I have to be mindful of that. I've gotten good at staying completely on the balls of my feet, the very, very minimal heel touching to the ground in general. Definitely we don't land on the heels, but I'm also taking longer strides sometimes. When I pick up my pace and I want to run faster, I'm taking longer strides. So again, something I need to adjust a little bit, and I will. All right, so again, but this will carry over to my run times too. So the jumping and the sled work will make me bigger, faster, right? I believe there's a hypertrophic response from this sort of explosive work, just like speed squats. And there's definitely, we know from pushing a sled, absolutely has a hypertrophy response. So again, did box jumps, and then I finished up with the sled. So I threw the 55. Some people have said, oh, you need to load that up. I'm like, dude, not on the surface I'm on. Also, imagine how fast it'll just grind the feet off. I have those thick, replaceable nylon Rogue feet on the Rogue sled. Again, they're nice that they're replaceable. But yeah, so I throw that on, but I don't think people realize how hard it is on this surface. So again, I walk it down, fairly brisk walk on the way down, and then we turn around and I sprint back with it. But I've been doing this with a 45 now. Put a 55 on there. And again, I'll progressively overload this, right, over time. But it's going to have to be a slow buildup, just accumulating it over time. So we get down there and turn around and I sprint back. So again, we get pretty good speeds there. Should get, again, extra conditioning. So this is my higher intensity bit of cardio. And I'll try to do it most lifting days, weather permitting. So then we sprint it back. Again, also barefoot, just like my running. Definitely cardiovascularly taxing, and definitely just lights my quads and calves up just as hard as a high rep set of squats does. So overall, workout was pretty good. This ends my training week, so I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.